Ray Slick, that's right. All right. Hey, I wrote this poem after I was diagnosed with cancer a few, years ago. It's called Regina Einhorn. What planet she's dropped from, nobody knows. She hunts alone. Coolly cruising Rochambeau Avenue, legs and more legs, casual hips, jagged shag, pillow lips, and a mannish two-finger pinch on a parliament. 17, and she outcloots Jane Fonda. A mixed pack of cocksure Bibb and Sam's candy store hanging deep token James Dean afflicted egomaniacs flex their blue jean buttocks. But she somehow plucks me, makes a man feel so proud. Chats Fender Stratocaster and Gibson SG tells me to read Narcissus and Goldman and that she's tight with humble pie. Seeks a real good-looking guy with sensitive eyes to hang with locally. Last night, I was too stoned to crawl out of a 2 feet deep Bronx Park East ditch. Tonight, amid the brush, beneath the silver carving moon, it's me and blue denim miniskirt clad, red lipstick adorned, rooted Regina. I feel very submissive. Humana, humana, humana. I am Ralph Brandon, and hear the soft, low, surging trill of a small, voyeuristic owl before I collapse inwardly. Across a great green lawn, hand in hand, walks Regina with another man. And I wonder, where in this melted pot Bronx Gehenna did that breezy babe find an all-American, long blonde-haired hippie stud named Atticus Rasper? That was 3/4 of a lifetime ago. Since then, I've survived a bat attack, Hey Jude, and Thorazine. I've screwed 7 beauties, read the Bible, kicked Big Brother in the balls, and learned to love. But if that unfinished Regina business haunts me still, I need to get cancer. Third floor. Third floor. Our next door neighbor was a tall young lady. Denberg was the name on her door. She was raising a little girl and boy alone. Didn't know how I knew her first name was Judy. Her boy was 9, 2 years younger than me. His name was Jody. An older man moved in with him. The name on the door then read Colello Denberg. He was a cheap-looking cock-a-doodle-doo in a 3/4 black leather coat, like my father. Across from us lived a well-groomed kid in his late teens with good posture who wore burgundy penny loafers. I thought he might have a classy accent, but he never said boo. I don't recall ever seeing his parents, but was sure the neatly twined stack of books which would sometimes appear by the incinerator chute had belonged to them. 4 more doors. In the far corner was a red-headed divorcee and her 2 kids. Her loner son, Stephen Stoltz, was my age. He was good with dogs and roamed the streets and alleys surrounded by mangy strays. One night, his shapely older sister, Carol, was sitting on our front stoop, her transistor radio blasting something new all day and all of the night by the Kinks. The song was exciting, so was she. 3 apartments housed lone old ladies, 2 of whom were no longer capable of carrying their chairs downstairs to sit in front of the building. One could, but never did. Her name was Seal. She knew how to talk to people, and like my mother, more than once she would knock on our door and ask, "What's wrong in there?" I'd rather have not taken that sip of water, but got to. This is a home called Poe Park. In the Bronx, there's a Poe Park, because Poe lived in the Bronx. It had nothing to do with kicks, just the need to slow the invasive train of repetitious thoughts rolling unrelentingly through my head. Outside of Poe Park, I'd usually be able to cop downs. This hot night was no exception. Done deal. Stepped into the empty park to swallow the promise of stupor. Block long, it was mostly concrete and broken glass. It was 1976, and I couldn't care less that within a mile, landlords were torching buildings into cash, and the Yankees were making a pennant run. Cut across the park, at the far end, sitting on the stoop of an old white frame cottage, was a tattered lone soul playing guitar and singing. Long, limp blonde hair hid much of his face as he sang Simon and Garfunkel's El Condor Pasa. I'd rather be a hammer than a nail. I hadn't seen him in 10 years when we sat shoulder to shoulder in 7th grade, but here was my former classmate, Ivar Curtis, singing to a squirrel. Ivar, who could swing on clarinet and run like a Cadillac. In class, to get my attention, he would gently elbow me. "Look intelligent, Theodore," he'd say, straight-faced as he fingered imaginary scraggle on his chin to affect serious contemplation. No longer Ted, but Theodore, I'd follow. Then we'd face the teacher, rivet our eyes on him as though our very lives depended on it, and scratch our hairless 12-year-old chinny chin chins. Every day for 1 or 2 minutes straight, we looked intelligent. I heard Ivar had gone schizo. The downs melted my mind slow. Running into Ivar, I momentarily forgot how scared I was. Not of Ivar, but of my own mind. Waited for him to break before warmly saying, "Hey." He did a protrude lower lip out and blow air up move, blowing his hair from his face. Armageddon-eyed, he smiled recognition. Slurring, I asked, "Is it true your old man was a Ukrainian Nazi collaborator and trained your mutt to salute when he said Sud Heil?" "To hell with him," said Ivar. "He's dead." After assuring him that I'd buy another bottle, I reached over and threw back a heartening hit of his wild Irish rose. He plunged back into, "I'd rather be a hammer than a nail. Yes, I would, if I could. I surely would." "Ivar man," I interrupted, That hammer and nail shit sucks. Resting the guitar at his side, he raised the wild Irish to his lips and drained a long red swig. Tossed the bottle splatter crash onto concrete. Theodore, he said, it's the melody I love. I do too. It's an old Peruvian folk tune. Simon stuffed it with hammers and nails. Ivar rose to his feet, as though he were unveiling the temple of Artemis. With a sweeping gesture of his right arm, he presented the old white frame cottage. Awestruck, he held the pose for a moment. I beheld the cottage, flaked clapboard paint and broken multi-pane windows, heavy chains secured by 2 padlocks festooned the 2 front doors. Do you know who lived there, Theodore? Yeah, Poet Poe. Yeah, he affirmed, the Poet Poe. The Bronx was country then, and this was a fine little farmhouse. Poe rented it, lived here with his wife. She died young, here of TB. He lives on. I am he. As the sun set, he launched into the Raven. Out on my feet, fell to my knees. I found Ivor like 40, 50 years later. I friended him like on Facebook and like a message, but like I looked at the shit he was putting up there, and it was all this like fucking dumb right-wing shit. And some things are better off left in the past. The Love Fest will begin. Shrink touted Wall Street and Thorazine, but into poetry I fell. Roll my words on concrete, our world spins in the sky. A friend says the Love Fest will begin when I'm dead. Snatched Shrink's pipe from his mouth, smashed it on my head. Ink spilt on an empty page is a black cat streaking by. Shrink touted Wall Street and Thorazine, but into poetry I fell. An orange is to a guitar as a tangerine is to a mandolin. In the beginning was the word before the word became a lie. A friend says the Love Fest will begin when I'm dead. I need a man to show me life, Maria said. I had no reply. Shrink touted Wall Street and Thorazine, but into poetry I fell. Saul took a fall, got up, was Paul, said, for our sins, Jesus bled. Limp in the jaws of a low-flying bat, a rabbit's devoured alive. A friend says the Love Fest will begin when I'm dead. Snatched Shrink's pipe from his mouth, smashed it on his head. Everything matters, but there is no reason why. Shrink touted Wall Street and Thorazine, but into poetry I fell. A friend said the Love Fest will begin when I'm dead. Going to read one more. I'm very happy to be part of this rock and roll and spoken word poetry thing. So here's the last one. It's called Straight Lines. My mother said I should be afraid of my own shadow. My father said I should ram my fist deep down a big wet red dog's throat. A dignified old lady neighbor said I was a nice boy, Go fuck yourself, I replied. Hot shit Petey Cooney said I was real shit because I dropped a pop fly. Miss Pakula said I was smart in school. The palmist took one long look at my palm, said nothing, stared sadly at me, and split. My grandmother said I was a doppelganger. My grandfather, who escaped the Nazis, said I was a Nazi. Mike Gucci at 7 Santini Brothers Moving and Storage Company said I couldn't do anything right. The white detective with the yellow eyes said the many teeth marks on the dead girl's broken body were mine. My Uncle Saul said I should flee to Israel. My Uncle Jerry said I should go to law school and get married. A state-appointed Pakistani psychiatrist said I was a paranoid schizophrenic. Allison Katz said my dick was too small. Allison Katz said my dick was too big. A Korean hooker said I had a nice dick. The most guarded person I've ever met said I was the most guarded person he's ever met. Lucy Reyes said I was talented, had a full head of hair, and knew how to treat a lady. Helen Bannister said I was the most horrible man she'd ever met. A friend said I had nothing to die or live for, said my poetry was old and tired, that I need to bathe regular, get a girlfriend, whatever you say.